All right, YouTube is going to be a video on various different topics on the way that I see and on the way that I see the world. And while usually, I want you to keep in mind, usually I refer to you all as individuals for the purposes of this video. I will begin it at least by referring to you as a collective or a group, because we are a group in many ways. But throughout the video, I will also be referring to people as individuals. I believe in the importance of individuality. I would hope that we believe in the importance of individuality in the individual. But right now, for various reasons, I want to refer to us all as a group because we are a group going up against the corporation and the corporate complex that runs the media, the prison system, the military, the education system, the medical establishment. I've talked about circumcision before. And I don't want to go too much into that, but I'll be talking about it a little bit, but that's not what this is about right now. But we will be talking about the individual, and here we are the collective. And I think that there's a number of things I really want to talk about here. Um, a minute. I think, first of all, I would like to talk about the individuality, particularly of males, and for example, gender, and exploring the male gender and gender differences that we have. I think we are all individuals, but I think as a collective, and I think this is true for many females and for females also, but especially I think in some cases for males, I think that we don't really get to experience the trans culture in the drag culture the way that we do. And of course, while there are many things to talk about for females, and of course the abortion issue, and I'm a big supporter of abortion. I've talked about that, and of course L means lesbian females, and of course bisexual females, and there are different types of females that fit into what I'm talking about, and we have to worry and be concerned with those rights. And I've come out against ear piercing, just like I did circumcision. I'm against both, but I'm also against the ear piercing of baby girls. And there are many female issues that need to be talked about, and I would like to talk about that in this video as well, as I continue to talk about individuals and the rights of individuals and our individuality. But you never really see, more so with males, especially in more recent years, the kind of wide variety and wide range of different ways that the male can explore their mentality, their mind, and who they are, and who in themselves, because they are controlled by this rigid concept of what they're being told to be, by what the strict concept of what a male is, or what a man is supposed to be, or what a man is. And I don't believe in that. And I think you see that in a lot of different areas. Now, I think part of that is with circumcision. I think that you don't have to worry about that. I think that, we have to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of that for a variety of reasons, because you can't have a free society where you can mutilate the genitals of a male infant or any infant, because it's sickening and disgusting. It needs to be made illegal. And I think we will get to that point at some point, and I would like to help take us all there and to get there one way or the other. I wanted to start this video. It's a little late now, but I would like to simply say, and think about this, and think about the expansiveness and the daringness of this simple quote that I have come up with. And I'm not sure if someone else has said it before. I'm sure they did, but this is something I came up with, and that is a very simple line to remember. Cocaine snow and champagne waterfalls. I like to dream. And I believe in dreaming, and I believe in the dreams of the individual, and I believe in the success of us as a collective and as an individual, a collective of individuals and individualists who believe in individuality over the conformist and the corporate structure and the conformity and the conformist world they're trying to set up and create, in duality and in contrast to our almost Eden of individuality and of us being ourself. And I think that we have to once again retake back for the bulk that individuality and that American dream. And I think that for the people but I think that circumcision is something that has to be done away with. And I don't want to make this about that, but I also think that for the right wing, the Christian conservatives and such people that want to curse at their TV screen right now, I say that doubly about changing the laws in New York, where it's now legal to abort a fetus after birth. I'm sorry, but if you've birthed a child, that's no longer a fetus. That is a child. This is infanticide. And some people might say, or might be arguing about that, well, I thought you supported abortion. Yes, but most of us in the normal world would agree that an abortion takes place sometime before you have the child, not after. So that's quite bizarre. And they try to do the same thing in Virginia before that one idiot got caught with the black face and Klan shit and whatever. But I just want to say, or I want to talk about, rather, that for abortion, I think that what also upsets me about that is because I am a feminist on the issue of abortion. I believe in abortion and abortion rights and a woman's right to choose whether or not to have a child. And I think that abortion is good, but I believe it should be in the first trimester, or what I understand to be the first 4 months of a pregnancy, whatever that is. I think that you should be able to get an abortion in the first 4 months. I've actually become a little bit more conservative on that issue because I used to think the first 6 months, but from what I understand in stuff that I've learned about that, I now say 4 months. But you should absolutely and definitely have a right to an abortion, and that's disgusting and despicable. And that's how, then you end up in Alabama with the person there saying that women shouldn't have a right to an abortion, and the female governor, mind you, because they want to talk about this as being a male issue, and they want to talk about males keeping women from getting an abortion. Well, it was a female lawmaker that introduced the bill and a female governor that signed it, so it wasn't all males. But the point is, I do absolutely believe in the importance of a woman's right to choose logically in a reasonable way, not after you've had the kid. That is this insanity, and I don't understand how that happened. But going back to circumcision, when I talk about circumcision of children, I don't want to say that the parents who do this is crazy, but when you really look at that procedure and what they're doing, it's really hard not to say that they're a bit crazy, because I just do not understand the mentality behind that, and how that has been allowed and how that has happened for so long, so much so that even I am. And I often think, why am I? It seems like nonsensical garbage to me that we do that. It's insane gibberish that I often hear from this nation, Babylon, nation that babbles on, go figure. But when I talk about this stuff, I also just want to remind you, it can kill children. It does kill so many children a year, quite a bit, if you consider the fact there's really no legitimate reason to do this in the majority of cases. It can castrate the child. It kills 20,000 nerve endings. It makes sex suck more. Nothing good comes out of it. As long as you have this stuff to wash your dick with and you're not too damn big of a bum to do it, then why cut off part of the kid's dick? It's just crazy. But that is something we have to deal with. And I think that if you understand logic and the right to an individual or a human being body, a right to your body, your bodily integrity, or bodily integrity and a right to one's body, and if you have any property rights, that really comes down to you should have control over the meat, the flesh on your bones. That is you. Your brain, your body, that's you. And if you don't have rights to that property, then what property do you have rights to, and what does it matter? If you have rights to anything, it's you. You should have the right to the property that you carry around with you that is part of you. And that's why we have to get rid of male circumcision, because male circumcision makes that, and it makes freedom and liberty impossible. And what I believe in and what I want to see from this country is a humanist liberal, or a liberal humanist rather, is a country that really does believe in logic and rationality, reason, common sense, and a country that is believers and strong upholders of liberty, fraternity, equality, equality, those things, liberty, fraternity, equality, an egalitarian liberal nation is what we want to be. And part of the most important job of that country is to protect the interests of the most helpless. And I think that is what is so wrong about this country, and why I see major problems with both animal and children's rights in this country and in America, that those two groups of the most helpless among us are not being protected the way that they should be. And I am a big supporter of protecting the rights of children and animals. And that includes also, like I said, children from ear piercing. I don't think it's okay to pierce your daughter's ears, nor is it okay to cut off the most sensitive part of your of your son's penis. I don't think that's okay. I think it's actually quite disgusting that we still do that, as I said. But moving forward, I am a big supporter of LGBTQ rights. And I think it's very important that we not turn back the clock on these issues. And I think it's quite interesting that it really is an either or situation, because I don't want to say it's either or, but I think we are going back. And I don't want to say that people like an Alex Jones, or for that matter, many different people on the right, are these kind of Herbert Hoover conservatives from the 50s, but it does seem like that, or it comes across as that in some cases or in some ways. Because let's see, I mean, a drag queen rather is reading a story to some kids. He accidentally doesn't cross his legs quite right. He's wearing clothing under the skirt, but nevertheless, they say, well, you flashed the kids. Of course, that was an accident, but anyway, there's another transgender person goes to a salon, whatever, to have his genitals waxed. The females refuse to. Okay, now he's a fucking pervert because he wants to be able to engage in the same activity females do. A transgender person, some kids are transgender, regardless of the sex change. That I don't think children, because I don't think they can consent to that. Just like I don't think a child could consent to circumcision or sex or using drugs or anything else. I don't think they can consent to a sex change. But regardless of that, and regardless of and that usually doesn't happen, by the way, or regardless of being able to take estrogen, that is more lenient. But regardless of that, they don't like transgender people, and they don't like transgender children, and they consider that sexualization of children. They don't understand what sexualization of children even is, or how gender is. And once again, gender is in the mind, sexuality is between the legs, and so forth. But whether it's that or simply a transgender person, in some cases, maybe wanting to use the bathroom, they have something to say about that, and they're constantly always attacking the transgender person. And again, that's not liberty. It's not fraternity for these people. It's not liberty. And we don't have the egalitarian society we want, with the equality for the sexes, the genders, the different groups of people, the individuals that we want. And we are all individuals, and we should all be able to express ourselves. And I know you all want to look at me as this weirdo, and these are really, maybe I should have called this like the dreams of a strange man or something. But I mean, at the end of the day, that is how you see me, as a strange weirdo, when I get people to insult me on the right and the left from both sides. And in some cases, certainly more in the past, I've been insulted probably more from the left than I have anyone. But and of course, the Republicans, you know what they're about and what they're trying to do. The Democrats, sometimes you have to wonder what the hell is wrong with them, and they just come across as absolutely incompetent, but maybe even crazy, but or insane, rather, lunatics, almost batshit crazy. But the point is, I do believe, again, where was I? I do believe in liberty and equality and fraternity and equality and all of that good stuff. And I believe in the equal human rights of men and of women too. And I think that we are all individuals, whether you're Johnny or Susie or Amanda or Sally. You're all individuals, whether you're one part of one gender or two different genders. You're all individuals, and you're all going to express yourself in different ways and see yourself in different ways. And you're denying the beautiful oneness of individuality and what does balkanize and unify us as a people when you say we're not individuals. No, we are individuals. We are all individuals. And you have white individuals and black individuals, Christian and Jewish individuals, and whatever other religious individual, and you have male individuals and female individuals and so forth. Gay individuals and straight individuals, and of course, bisexual individuals, much like myself. You have all numbers and all kinds of people, and no one is the same. And what's good for one of you, mind you, might kill the other one. That's why the effects of circumcision or genital mutilation on both males and females, by the way, can be so very diverse and very adverse that what affects one person in one way, maybe they become a sex addict, might make the other person impotent and or both. So it affects different people in different ways. But that's also why you shouldn't do that. And there's some people it doesn't have very many negative effects on. It might have very little negative effect on them. But some people it does, and it's just not something we should do. And again, it should be their right. If you want to have part of your body chopped off, that should be your right to decide that as an individual. I want to go further into this and talk about, or explain rather, that again, it's one of those situations where I could pop-ups. I want to go into that further and explain it. It really is one of those situations where, I could sit here all day and talk to you about how, again, the sky is blue. And of course, not in all cases it appears that way, but usually more often than not, it appears to be blue. But you would have some individual, some idiot, if they were watching, somewhere probably launch into a major argument against me, saying why the sky isn't blue. And it's the same thing with the obvious common sense things I'm saying here. that we have almost rejected as a society like idiots. It's quite sad almost. Um, but again, as I said, I would like for you to all see this as a group here, but you are all in fact actual individuals, as I am myself an individual, and we're not all the same, and we're all quite different, and we're going to view the world in different ways. But I would like for you to really truly think about what I'm saying. And again, this is also particularly for in looking at males in the audience that might be watching this. I think this is important for males and females, but especially among some of you males. And of course, the suicide rate among males, especially young males or the doom generation, as they call them, is absolutely at crisis levels. It's I can't think of the word. But it's massive rates of suicide in America for young males, and that's very should or at least should be very worrisome to people. And we have to, I think we reaffirm the humanity of males, and we do need to look at that situation and go back to why are males so hating their lives and look at that more legitimately. But again, it really is a case of either or. Either or we become more religious and more conservative and we drift further back into the dark age, or we advance and we explore space and we go to the stars and we do that together as a group and as individuals, and we chart new destinies and new planets, and we map the world and we look at things totally different. And we can do that together, or we go back to the dark age with your religious nonsense and your genital mutilations of male and female with the circumcision shit, and you persecute the gays and the transgenders, and you continue to do all this, and you're be racist and you're be sexist and everything else, and you can continue to do that, or we can all get together and try to get along. And we need to come together to express ourselves and protest the negative things that are happening in this country. And you can blame Trump all you want, but I've talked about before with immigration, for example. That goes back to George W. Bush, and even before him, but really under Bush, they started that policy of like separating families, putting people into cages. I've talked about the absolute mistreatment of males at the border, even more so than females, especially young males and even teenagers, males who are not even hitting puberty, throwing them into the lesser quality living facilities with the men, and some of the men are in gangs and everything else, and forcing the males to live with them, and they're doing that on the border. Our U.S. Border Patrol the ICE or different people, they're doing that to these people. And I talked about that, and it happened under Obama. And I told you before, Obama, I think, deported like 3 times, or at least more than 2 times the amount of people Trump had or has yet. Now, I think Trump ramped it up a little bit, but as far as I know, Obama has still deported more people than Trump did. So that was your pro-immigrant left. Well, of course, that's not a very pro-immigrant left. And Obama has said himself before that in actuality, his policies during Reagan would have been considered middle of the road conservative, or moderate or conservative policies. That's not a liberal. And what we need in this country is liberalism. We need humanism. We need to be liberal humanists. And that's about all. T666.